Hey there, and welcome. Let me ask you something. Ever had one of those days where a bad night's sleep just completely tanks your mood? Or maybe you felt that amazing clarity after a good workout? Yeah? Well, there's a reason for that. Today, we're going to dive deep into why that happens. This incredible, fascinating connection between our minds and our bodies. This idea isn't new. It's not just some modern wellness trend. It's this piece of ancient wisdom that's been around for forever. And what it's really saying is that our physical health, that's the bedrock, the foundation for everything else. Our mental sharpness, our emotional stability, you name it. But is it actually true? Let's dig in and find out. And look, it's a totally fair question to ask, right? I mean, we usually treat our minds and bodies like they're two different entities. You go to a doctor for a physical problem and maybe a therapist for a mental one. But what if that's not the whole picture? What if they're so deeply connected that you can't really separate them? We're about to explore just how much they're constantly talking to each other. All right, so first things first, we need to kind of shift our perspective here. Stop thinking of yourself as a brain that's just, driving a body around like it's a vehicle. No, it's all one system, a completely integrated single system where everything, and I mean everything, affects everything else. Just think about it in your own life for a second. When you are physically wiped out, totally exhausted, how's your thinking? It's fuzzy, right? Patience goes right out the window. And what about the other way around? You're super stressed about something at work and boom, suddenly you've got this pounding headache or that awful knot in your stomach. See? It's a two-way street, a nonstop conversation happening inside you all the time.
So, this is the big takeaway, the key idea. Your physical health and your mental health are not just connected, they are fundamentally intertwined. You really, truly cannot have one without the other. If you want to be genuinely healthy, if you want to feel your absolute best, you've got to look after both sides of the coin.
Okay, so if we accept that our bodies have this massive impact on our minds, what do we do about it? How can we actually use that connection to our advantage? Well, we're going to look at three key pillars, three foundational things you can do to build a stronger, more resilient mind, all by starting with your body. First up, let's talk about nutrition. Yeah, we all know food is fuel for our bodies, but guess what? It's just as critical for our brains. Seriously, think of your brain like a high-performance engine. You wouldn't put cheap, junky fuel in a race car, would you? It needs the good stuff to run well. That old saying, you are what you eat, it's maybe even more true for your mind. And eating well does so much more than just give you a bit of physical energy. It literally supports your brain's most complex jobs. It can help level out your mood, keeping you on a more even keel. And it even boosts your immune system, which, trust me, is usually the first casualty when stress levels get high. All right, pillar number 2, exercise. And again, we all know it's good for us physically. But what's amazing is that it's one of the most powerful and fastest acting things you can do for your mental state. It's like a natural antidepressant and a mental reset button all rolled into one. So does it really work for things like anxiety? Oh yeah, 100%. When you move your body, it releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals. But it's way deeper than that. You're not just burning off steam. You are actively changing your brain chemistry for the better. And when you do that consistently, you build up this mental resilience, and your self-confidence gets a nice little boost too. And it creates this amazing chain reaction. You exercise, which crushes stress. That helps you feel more emotionally stable throughout your day. And that leads to way better sleep, which, funny enough, brings us right to our third and final pillar. Okay, this one is huge. Sleep. How often do we trade sleep for just one more hour of work or scrolling or whatever? It's such a common thing to do, but it's a massive mistake. Sleep is not downtime. It's when your brain is hard at work, doing all its essential maintenance. It's cleaning house, processing emotions, sorting through memories. It's the ultimate reset. And the difference it makes is just night and day, right? Think about it. When you're running on fumes, you're cranky, you can't remember anything, and your decision-making is shot. But when you're actually well rested, you're calmer, you can handle your emotions, and your mind just feels sharp. The contrast is incredible. All right, so we've covered how taking care of your body can help your mind. But remember, this is a two-way street. So now let's flip the script and look at what happens when a stressed-out mind starts to make the body sick. And this is where that powerful connection can, unfortunately, work against us. Because when you're living in a state of chronic stress, your mind is just screaming danger over and over again. It's sending these alarm signals all through your body. And after a while, your body just starts to break down from being on high alert 24/7.
And we're not talking about just feeling bad. These are real physical symptoms you can measure. Stress can tank your immune system, which is why you might get sick all the time. It can mess with your blood pressure or your digestion. And of course, there are the classic headaches and that feeling of just being totally drained. Make no mistake, your body is absolutely keeping score. So, with all that in mind, what's the solution? How do we get things back in balance? Well, this is where holistic practices are a game changer. These are things you can do that are designed specifically to get your mind and body speaking the same language again.
Things like yoga or meditation are so incredibly effective because they target that mind-body link head on. They force you to connect your physical movements with your breath and with your focus. It's about syncing them all up. And when you do that, it's amazing how much it can boost your concentration, melt away stress, and just help you find that centered, balanced feeling.
Okay, let's bring this all home. Let's talk about a practical blueprint for your daily health. Because, it's great to understand all this stuff in theory, but putting it into practice, that's where the magic really happens. And listen, here's maybe the most important part of all. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. That's not how this works. Real long-term health is built on the small things you do consistently, day in and day out. It's a marathon for sure, not a sprint. When you boil it all down, it comes back to one simple, powerful truth. It is so much easier to stay well than it is to get well. Prevention is always better than cure. That's the whole philosophy behind taking a proactive, holistic approach to your health. So here it is, your blueprint. It's those pillars we've been talking about. Move your body regularly, fuel it with good food, prioritize your sleep, and find a way to actively manage your stress, whatever that looks like for you. Meditation, a hobby, just taking a walk. And remember, these aren't separate checkboxes. They all work together. They're all part of one single, healthy way of living. I want to leave you with this final thought. Your body, it's not just a vehicle for your brain. It's the actual home your mind lives in. And just like any home, when you take care of it, when you keep it clean, when you give it good fuel, when you let it rest and repair, the resident inside is a lot happier. So think about that. Your body is your mind's home. My only question for you is, what's one small thing you're going to do today to take care of your home?